everyone. This is Erica Howlett here as a senior consultant with implementation specialist. Today we're going to go over some smart lists between modifying, saving, how to even change the default on what your asterisk looks like once you go into Smartlist. So I'm going to go into GP. Now, for everybody, I know you guys may be on different versions in GP, but I kind of still have 16 on my desktop. There's a lot of flexibility with it. I know 18 has even more features available with Smartlist that are absolutely wonderful. However, I've got so much data in my 16, I kind of need to stay there for just a little bit longer. So now everybody's got the same ways to get into Smartlist. We're going to go right to our Dynamics button and go right to Smartlist here. Now, you see how we've got our modules right on the side of our navigation pane? We've got the same ones that we're going into in Smartlist. So it kind of makes it easier for you to sit there and say, hey, I'm in this module, this is what I need, item quantities. So you're not really left there to just sit there and figure out what you need to build and where you need to build it, which are some of my experiences sitting in your seats as an accountant, and it makes life harder. The way these come out of the box pre-built actually answers a lot of questions for us. Now, I don't use it for just reports. I actually use it basically as an inquiry tool. It gives us the flexibility of creating new smart lists, depending upon if you use a third party called Smartlist Builder, which is my favorite, or if you want to use smart lists out of the box, the GP calls it Smartlist Designer. They work a little bit differently. It's going to give us the same end result, but Smartlist Builder is something I've been working with for many, many years, and it's just something that comes to where, you know, you've got that comfort zone of something that you've worked with for so long. So I'm going to start here in financial. I'm just going to open it up. Again, being a prior accountant, that's normally where you guys live. So now you can see we can come in and look at accounts. And of course, the asterisks, we can never modify that. We can never change it. We can save as one of our favorites, but this is giving you the basic lines. So I'm just going to hit on that. There's no searches. There's no additional columns. Now, what you might see different about mine versus yours is that I've got the main account segment showing up in my asterisk view. You might be sitting there saying, well, Erica, you just said we can't change that. No, you can't in Smartlist. However, we've got some fun setup abilities we can change. One of the things I absolutely can't stand is that out of the box, GP makes your maximum records 1,000. Yeah, for someone like me who needs to see all of types of records and in my search, I need the max amount we can go. Now, if I'm just running something really super quick and on the fly, I'll just come in here and I just type 9s until you hear the nice Windows beep. And this will give me everything I'm looking for. However, we can have so much more fun in setups. So I'm going to use my GP bar, and this is all going to depend on your settings and your rights and permissions inside of GP. If you don't have these, email us, come directly to us, call us up, say, hey, Erica, I really want to change this and that, and we'll have no problems jumping into your system and helping you out. That's what we're here for. So I'm going to go into setup, and I'm going to go into systems. And look at that. We've got some smart list options right here. So now here's our defaults. So for each item, each different type of smart list, which GP calls categories, we have different options for our default go-tos. Our go-tos are when we can double click and it brings us up the window. That's just GP terms for a go-to. I still call it double click after all of these years. Now you're going to notice you see one for accounts. It's not modular based. It's everything that your smart lists are giving you right here. All of the different folders within there, anywhere there's an asterisk, that's your category. And yeah, it could be a little funky trying to get your arms wrapped around that at first. Once you understand that, these are actually categories for GP, you'll get there. there's a lot of things that are GP lingo versus Erica lingo. So let's sit here and go back in here. Now look, my defaults, you'll see right here, I have main account segment checked off. Whatever we have checked off is automatically going to come up in the asterisks. This is phenomenal because a lot of the times, either they're giving us too little information on our asterisks or too much. It kind of stinks wasting time, in my opinion, of having to go into the columns, remove columns, add columns, scrolling through what you need for. Me, I'm all about efficiency. I really want to get there as quick as I can because as an accountant, your guys' job duties are completely overloaded. Between month end and during regular normal work, you're working way more than 40 hours a week. If we can get this system to speed it up for you and make it yours, then we need to definitely do that and help you work through that. So you can sit here and check off and uncheck whatever columns you want to come up as a default. And again, the benefit of that is to where it's going to come up the way you want for the broad perspective, and you can favorite it, change your search results, and move things around as you need. It really is just a quicker way to speed you up. Of course, you can mark all and unmark all. Now be very, very careful. When you hit mark all and you come into here, you're going to have 1,001 columns that you're going to scroll through. You're going to spend a lot of time going to columns and hitting remove, because when you go to Excel, export it out, your nice, fun, friendly button up here, it's going to tell you it can't. There's too much. So that really, really needs to be kept in mind, that mark all, they really shouldn't even allow you to do that. It should be a big X through it, big no-no. Do not go, do not pass go or collect your $200. Absolutely do not touch that button. So you can scroll through here, see what you want. You can also, just like when we're building out Smartlist, sit here and highlight and move around just the columns that you want and where you want them to appear. It really is going to help you as to what you want to see it when you export it, because let's be honest, how many accountants don't use Excel? That would scare me if I heard that somebody in accounting does not use Excel. And the most part, what we use Excel for, between pivot tables, analysis, it's really a great way to get a good amount of data for you. Now look, you can see maximum records. Initially, once GP is installed, without having us change this, it's always going to go to 1,000. You can see here, I changed it. I do not take 1,000. That would drive me insane, because then you export it and you think you have all your information, but oh wait, no, there's more. I completely forgot. Then you're rerunning the report, and after you've got your parameters in there, you're kind of like, oh man, I just spent 10 minutes wasting time. Someone get me more coffee is normally the words after that. So again, I can just sit here and hit 9 all I want. The maximum records will automatically default to the exact amount of records. And interesting fun fact, this is actually a question on the GP exams. Exactly what are the amount of maximum records in Smartlist that can export to? So you can actually see that right there, that is the true number of the maximum amount. Now, if you really need to go about all of these numbers, yeah, you might want to call us up so we can kind of archive some of the super, super old records. So this way you're not having to sift through and making additional searches. So now right here, again, our default go-to, let's go back into that. It could take us directly to an inquiry, whether it's a summary or a detail inquiry, or we can go to the view. The view is really just the terminology of how that report is built and what it's looking for. I always tend to leave it at the default go-to. I never change it. If I'm creating a brand new Smartlist in Smartlist Builder, what I'm going to do is I can actually sit there and tell it, this is my go-to button. So this is something, again, I really recommend playing with, don't change it. I kind of like going in and seeing what it'll give me. And of course, the double clicks, wow, that just makes life so much easier. Now, in 18, GP 18, you do have some additional things for Smartlist, such as when you create your own favorite, you can actually sit there and say, hey, nobody else can touch mine, which I highly, highly recommend. Right now, though, in 16, we can actually have a password on modifying a Smartlist favorite. I do like this ability because there's really not many people in any organization that's going to see this window. So it kind of does give you a little bit more control over, hey, somebody needs to modify it. On the flip side, you might have the person who created it saying, hey, I need to modify it, enter this password, and hey, I need to do this, this, and that. So it really can be great, or it can sit there and be a little hounding. That's why if you go to 18, people can actually set their own passwords on their reports that they create. So keep that completely in mind. I always leave our search defaults exactly how they want it. Enable the match case checkbook on the search window. That's just basically telling you, hey, I can write something in lowercase like document ID, and it'll automatically know, hey, we don't have to have it fully uppercase and lowercase sensitive, which when you're in a hurry and a rush could be a little bit annoying. So again, don't forget about this Smart List options window. You can see all of the ones you have here. And you can see ones I haven't changed because yes, it is going to be time consuming. But again, once you set it up, hey, set it and forget it. I mean, it's done. You have nothing else to worry about. And everything that has the asterisk will automatically change. So it really is worth the extra 20 minutes to get it going that way. So now if I'm creating a brand new smart list off of the asterisks here, I'm going to see everything we have here. We can sit right in here, add columns. We're just going to go right to there. We're going to add, and you can see tons and tons of things that we can grab in. Now, automatically, it's going to hit field name, and it's going to give it to you sorted by alphabetical letters, which is great. But sometimes, hey, we really don't know what we're looking for. And that's another reason, hey, maybe the window we need to be in, whether it's the account transaction, let's bring up an account transaction. Bring up a GL entry transaction, and you can see all of the different naming structures. Because it can be different, and in Smartlist Builder, it definitely will be different, but it's a lot easier for consultants and experienced Smartlist writers to actually get the information they need. So it is, again, one of my favorite products just because I've used it for so long, and it captures everything I truly do need when I'm running analysis on multiple companies, one company, and all of the different modules we have. Now you'll see going through, if it's a closed year, we can have that, the created date, which always is good for an account transaction. And of course, once you grab one, if I want to grab multiple, you're going to hit the control button. I wouldn't hit shift because, of course, you grab something for shift and you tap here, it's going to grab everything in between. But you can sit here and just grab a bunch, hit OK, and then you can sit here and actually go through what you want, change it around. Maybe I want to see adjust for inflation all the way at the top. And you see it comes right on up here. And we can look even more information, and it's great. It's really going to help out. You can hit OK, and it's going to refresh. You can see right now, hey, it's only giving us the first 1,000 records. You can see it stop. Now, keep in mind, if you've got any GP report that generated, say, historical trial balance anywhere in AR aging, AP aging, keep in mind that your smart lists are not going to run as long as that window is open. And it's really the same theory as if you're trying to run 4 different reports at once, and GP is allowing you to, but it's spooling saying, okay, this report was run first, we're going to bring it up. And you know how the other 4 reports won't come up until we actually close out that initial window. Same thing for Smartlist. It's running on the same design in the back of the system saying, hey, no, we need to close one thing out before we can open it. Trust me, I bug Microsoft all the time that I can't stand GP doing this to me. I want to see all the windows I want and give me what I want. Very demanding with Microsoft, but they've got great suggestion boxes, and this is why they keep coming out with new versions, to actually sit there and say, okay, this is what the people want. They're not making educated guesses based on the engineers. They're listening to what we want. And I use and abuse that feature to no end. So now let's go over some of the search. You know what? Let me go back into columns really quickly. If we can actually sit here and you know what you're looking for, a currency or a date field, you can actually just scroll by type. Sequence, I really wouldn't worry about too much. It's more of a backcoding feature. It's just something that has to come up in the window. But if we know what we're looking for something with a date. All right, document date, modify date. It's a great way to kind of sort and get what you want. Keep in mind, once you get to string, a lot of it's going to be string, and it's just a long value of anything that it could be, number, letters, combinations, tons and tons of fun. So now, it could still be in the middle of running, and oops, I forgot to put in a search field. See here, it'll automatically go to stopped once I click another button. Now I can sit here and I can either hand type or look up some of the basic lookups within the columns we have here. So whatever's sitting there in the main column series, that we can have that and look at it. You can see modify date, it's right over here. Just because we're looking at the column name does not mean it needs to be in your actual columns. You can hand type out the column name you want here. So don't feel like because you need to search here that it needs to be in your columns. No, the magnifying glass is giving you the ability to say, hey, most people want to search something in one of the columns that they have come up in. But again, you don't have to. It's completely okay. I'm going to just say credit amount. Now, the filters. These are the coolest things. I've worked in Oracle platforms. I've worked in AX. I've worked in so many different things, QuickBooks. It doesn't give you these type of filters for you to run the reports on their own. For the most part, they do need to be some sort of homegrown reports, or you're really left to fend for yourself on what they call queries, and not as easy and fun or quick. So I like the fact of the contains. That is my favorite one, because hey, sometimes we really don't know the full amount. We're just going to leave it as, say, 800. I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to give me everything. And of course, you know you're done once it says completed. It says exploring. Hey, it's looking for some more stuff. Sorry. And again, the double click feature to me never ever gets old. I love it, especially for the fact that GP also gives you the hyperlinks, which will bring you back up to another window. And in this instance, because this came from the receivables and sales modules, you can actually see the entire transaction that came through. You didn't actually have to search for the specific document number, the document date, all of that stuff. So one of the things I do love to use it for is in payables. You guys have vendors. You do not have control as much as I would love to. Control over what their naming process and structure is in payables transactions. To me, that really kind of stinks. So I use this more as my inquiry tool, because in inquiry in GP, it doesn't give you a contains. It says starts with, ends with. So I'm going to say document number contains, and yes, you can use begins with. It's okay, but maybe I just want to see something to where, okay, I know a partial amount of that invoice or that invoice number. I'm just going to type it in, and you can see everything come up, because in the real world in accounting, you've got vendors that have maybe 15, 20 digits to their vendor invoice number. And you know, somebody can easily have that slip of the finger trick to where maybe they didn't type in the full one. It's really, really easy to get lost in that and spend a lot of time searching. So I really do use this more as an inquiry tool, as well as getting as much data as I need as possible. And again, you can sit here, double click, see exactly what the heck you're doing. See what happens. Where was the distributions? Where did it apply to? So now, all right, I've got my search filter in here. I know I'm always going to need something that has the word test in it. I want some more columns. Let's add some. Let's go crazy. And I'm just going to grab all of this. Say, okay, let's go. We're good. Okay, so now I want to sit here and say I'm going to always use this template. This is something I need all the time. All right, not a problem. Make sure your search, and always make sure your maximum records are the max. Because if this is a template you're going to use over and over and over again, and maybe just tweak document date for is between, then you want to make sure you've got your maximum records. I'm just going to leave everything as is. Let it come up. Now I'm going to hit favorites. Now here you can see the name. We cannot change and keep it as the asterisk. That is our basic default. GP says, heck no, you can't do it. Have a great day. So we can just name it whatever we want. Now, I always have been in organizations to where once people get a hold of Smartlist, they can't stop. Like an addiction to where you can find all of the information and go back into the other reports that you want. Now, that's good and that's bad. It's really good because other people can actually sit there and say, oh, you've got a template already pre-built. That's great. You're making yourself faster just by a click of touching your Smartlist favorite. What's bad is if somebody else can jump into that report, use it, modify it, and instead of hitting modify, they favorite over it. No, no, that is a big no-no. I don't like people touching my Smartlist and modifying them. They want to use it as a base template, that's fine. Favorite it, change the name. That is perfect. And I've been in way too many situations to where that's happened all too often, and I have to rebuild my Smartlist. So right here, I'm just going to click Add Favorite. And you're going to see right here, visible. We can make it just visible to just me, which is kind of pretty cool, to be quite honest, because then you're hiding all of the other Smartlists and nobody else can touch them. I tend to leave it system-wide so people can use it. And now that GP18 has the feature to where you put your own password on your Smartlist, makes life a little bit easier to where, hey, everybody can see the templates and save as, but they're not going to save over it. If we use company, then that means it's just exclusive to this company only. So if you're in an organization where you have multiple companies and you also have the demo data database called Fabricam, only the company you built it in is going to see it. Be very, very careful. User class is when we're actually using hierarchies of an organizational system that GP offers. Not many people use it, so I'm kind of going to gloss over it, but we do have that availability and functionality there. Again, and we can always do users. So now I'm going to add favorite. We can always add a reminder, and that will go directly to our home screen. That's really cool, and you can say, hey, you got to run this every month. Whatever you're looking to do, explore your system, figure it out, and make sure that, hey, you're using it to the best of its ability. So now you can see I've got Erica testing right here, and you can always use it. Now, look at your organization. Look at how many people are in it. How many people have access to GP? There's too many times to where people will just rattle off a name of a Smartlist, type something in. They'll use asterisk dash to make sure it stays at the top. Figure out a better schema for it to where you know whose Smartlist or whose, and that's just where I always end up using either my initials or my first name. just so then I can scroll through and know what is mine. Where's my stuff? Because people will add things all over the place, and when you're rushing and you're getting through your stuff as efficient as possible, you just want to go in and grab it. Because again, every organization I've been in, we are Smartlist oriented, and you'll have easily hundreds just in the payables transaction folder. Everybody likes to see their stuff differently. So now, all right, I want to alter this just a little bit. Let's grab this. Now, all right, this works once. We can see the information, the added column, but if I want to favorite it, and this is that save and save as feature. I'm just going to click on favorite. Now look, if I hit modify, equate modify to save, because that's exactly it. If we want to save as, we change the name and hit add. So modify really is save, favorites or save as. Think of it that way, because that will be your easiest way of identifying so you don't screw up somebody else's smart list. As often as that happens to me, I've done it to other people very mistakenly, and I would feel awful just knowing that, oh man, how much time and energy did they put into that? And do I need to call my GP partner so they can get it back for them? Because we do have ways we can get it back much quicker than, for the most part, recreating it. So don't hesitate to come to us about that either. We're always here. So look at that, think about that. Now, again, I've got Smartlist Builder. We do have functionality in Builder and in Designer of merging and creating reports, say financial with payables. Let's say you want to see distributions on a payables transaction. We can actually create them for you. And we can also give training sessions privately to you guys so you can actually see how to do that. It's a very difficult process at first, just kind of like how Accounting 101 is at first, to where, oh goodness gracious, all right, what's balance sheet, you know, the green ledgers, all of that fun stuff. It's really just getting used to knowing about it and how it works and ticks and talks. So we can definitely show you how to do that. But for right now, go into each one of your folders, check it out, look at everything that they have to offer. Start getting yourself very familiar with what's in the purchase line items versus receiving line items. Look at the differences in all of the columns you can add. And again, anywhere you see an asterisk, initially out of the box, that's exactly what it is, out of the box. After people start getting into it, they can put their asterisks anywhere. So just be very mindful of that. Okay, and if you guys have any questions, I'm going to definitely open the floor up to you. I'm going to bring up my contact information so you can always get a hold of me. I'm always going to be around, so have no worries about coming back in and saying, you know, I really needed something more. I want additional training in Smartlist. Very, very willing to provide it. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I don't see any questions popping up. Well, it's been a great experience talking to you guys, and hopefully you did learn something today. Again, if you want more of an intermediate training or an advanced user training, come to us and we can set it up and definitely give you some materials to make life easier in the future. But have fun with your smart list.